everybody. This is my video for Meet the Maker March. My name is Sabrina. You'll see my channel name is called Sangreena 619. So this is my first video on YouTube. I'm just kind of here to introduce myself and let you know what you can see in upcoming videos. If you are a friend of mine, thank you for the support in watching my videos. Thank you for being interested in what I love to do. If you're new and you don't know me, thank you for taking the time to watch this video and get to know me. Hopefully you'll stick around for a little while and watch my sewing adventures as they happen. I am 26 years old and I live in Montana, which is partially why I got back into sewing, because a lot of the year there's a lot of snow outside, and unless you're snowboarding or skiing or snowshoeing or anything else like that, usually you're stuck inside for extended periods of time, at least between the months of September and May usually. But I have been sewing since I was around seven. My grandmother taught me and I have loved it ever since. I did take a bit of a break, as you do just growing up. My formative years were focused on school and friends and sports and things like that. It wasn't until I moved to Montana when I was 18 that I picked up sewing again. My mother bought me a sewing machine for my 18th birthday, and that was kind of the beginning of my newfound love and hobby. I started out pretty much not knowing anything about how to use a sewing machine, since I hadn't used one since I was 10 or 11, and it was very different from my grandmother's machine. So I used a lot of YouTube channels. Cool was somebody that I started watching when I was in college. I learned a lot from her, and then pretty much anything I came across, couldn't figure out, was confused about, I went to YouTube and typed it in and found somebody who explained how to do it, and that was really where I learned most of my craft. And I'm very thankful that I was able to learn that way, because it was at my own pace and I could watch the same video 8 million times if I needed to, if I didn't get it the first time. That way I didn't feel bad if there was a teacher there not like wanting to deal with me not figuring it out right away. So anyway, that's a little bit about my sewing history. So I'm 26 years old. I am married. I just got married last August, so it was just 6 months. On February 24th, we had been married, which is kind of exciting. We're coming up on our 6th anniversary of being together, and that's May 24th. So we're not total newbies, but still definitely newbies in the eyes of anybody who's been married for quite a while. We have 2 dogs, Jake and Lucy. Jake is he's almost 5-year-old chocolate lab, and Lucy is our puppy. She's about 1.5 years, and she's a black lab mix. They are wonderful, and I love them to death, and I'm thankful every day that I have them, because they are just the little lights of my life. Hobbies, aside from sewing, include roller derby. I've been skating for 3.5 years, so it'll be 4 years in September, whenever that rolls around. And I absolutely love it. It is definitely not something I ever thought I'd get into, but once I got into it, I was hooked, and I'm a jammer. If any of you guys know what roller derby is, it's my job to skate really fast and try not to get knocked down. But I really enjoy it, and it definitely keeps me calm and grounded. It gives me that athletic outlet that you may miss when you live in a place that has winter for so much of the year. So that is definitely a highlight in my life. I love that so much. Let's see what else. I love to read. I'm a historical fiction buff. I tend to read a lot around World War II. It's probably because I love reading about the fashion of the times. I'm very much into vintage fashion and 40s and 50s. I also really like the 70s too, the color palette and things like that. But the silhouettes I definitely love from the 40s and 50s. And so I do enjoy learning about that through historical fiction and that sort of genre. Along with reading, I also love to bake and cook. It's just really cathartic, I guess, and I enjoy creating. So anytime I can create something, whether it's through fabric or through food, or any other media, honestly, I'm willing to try just about anything. I work in IT, And I do really love my job. Despite working in a basement, I joke with my coworkers that they stuck me down in the basement with all of them to bring a little ray of sunshine down into an area with no windows. But we have a good time there, and I really enjoy working in IT. Definitely another thing that I didn't think I would get into, but once I found myself there, I really enjoyed it. The main purpose behind this channel, I decided to start a YouTube channel because I've had a few people in my life mention that they would love to watch videos that I post about learning how to sew or watching my progress. I have a very supportive group of friends and family, and I really appreciate that. I want to catalog my own progress just for myself, mainly. I'm also hoping in a way to share my makes and my projects and just the positives and the negatives, because we all do have negatives. It's, no matter what we post on Instagram or YouTube or, show off in real life, we always have those little mistakes and things. And honestly, I kind of find the fun in that. I think that it's interesting to think about how we learn from our mistakes. Something that we say in roller derby actually to all of our new people is, if you're not falling, you're not learning. And it's true. It's kind of, you have to take the negatives and just learn from them and appreciate what it teaches you that you may not have gotten from a book or from watching a YouTube video. Nothing like, practice makes perfect, in my personal opinion. I would also like to kind of expand my sewing universe. Living in Montana, I have mentioned that because you can tend to be shut in a little bit in the winter. I don't have a lot of friends, at least, and definitely not my age, who sew. I've tried to get my friends into it, but they all have their other stuff they have going on, which is fine. I have a personal connection to it, and I've been doing it for a very long time, so I understand that it can be daunting to somebody who's just trying. So hopefully through my videos, maybe I'll convince some of them to give it a try, and then they can learn how to patch their own jeans, and I can spend my weekends doing other things, but I don't mind. I actually really love to mend clothes and bring something back to life that may have been thrown away because of something really simple. Since I do love vintage and I wear a fair amount of vintage clothes, I have found that knowing how to mend and knowing how to transform something into something completely different can really extend the life of your wardrobe, help you save money, help you save the environment, and I'm about all of those things. I absolutely love the idea of taking something old and either refashioning it or repurposing it or just bringing it back to its former glory. That's usually what I try to do with anything I find that's vintage, unless it's completely too far gone, then I'll turn it into something else. But generally I like to restore and wear it out into the world, and people here get a kick out of it, which I really enjoy. So yeah, aside from that, I would like to expand my sewing universe and maybe make some sewing friends. And what if I've heard a couple people call them like socialites and things like that, which I think is wonderful. And I would really like to have a few people in my life that I could call upon when I have questions. Currently, I FaceTime my grandma and I complain to her about how a pattern doesn't make sense, and then she has to talk me down and walk me through it, and usually we get to it at the end. But it would be nice to have other people I can bother at 11 o'clock, because my grandma's usually in bed by then, and I'm pretty productive around 11 o'clock, so it would be nice to have some friends to call upon who have the same hours as me. Yeah, I'm hoping through my videos I can also maybe inspire people to learn how to sew. Maybe it's something that they've been thinking about doing, or you've been thinking about doing, and you just don't know where to start, or it just seems really daunting. I would really love to be the person who can walk somebody through that and maybe just break the ice and get them to try something for the first time. That's definitely how I did it, and I think it was really helpful. So some things to expect on or from this channel would be sew-alongs. I did just purchase some Vogue patterns. They had a sale recently, and I try to wait until they're all on sale because I'm thrifty. I try to be thrifty if I can. And so I bought a few various dresses and shirt patterns from Vogue or McCall's Patterns, and I would like to give those a try. We are going into spring here in Montana, which means I have a few more months before it's actually time for me to wear like dresses and skirts and things. I would like to film some sew-alongs for some of those patterns. Most of the patterns I have now are vintage, and I would feel sort of bad doing a sew-along for a pattern that you guys wouldn't be able to get. So I'm working on some new modern patterns, and hopefully I can help anybody who maybe has it sitting in their closet and would like to give it a try and just haven't yet. On the same line as sew-alongs, I would really like to do some pattern reviews as well. I feel like sometimes I'm curious in a pattern, but I don't really want to pull the trigger on buying it just yet for whatever reason. If I feel like it might be too complicated, or it just uses a lot of techniques that maybe I'm not familiar with, I'll look online and I'll try to find somebody who's done the pattern and walk through it so I can get an idea of what it's going to take to complete it. That being said too, I notice I tend to make less mistakes when I'm following along with someone else's progress because I'm watching them as I'm doing it. And so I think that pattern reviews would be a good thing to do to help others feel more comfortable when attempting maybe a daunting project. I will likely also talk about sewing plans that I have for the year or the season. I have a fair amount of sewing projects that I would like to finish in 2020. I've already done quite a few, and maybe I'll make a video of just what I've made so far. I love to watch fabric hauls and pattern hauls and sewing plan videos, so I think along those lines I'll probably do some videos that are similar to those because it's what I enjoy to watch, so I imagine that they'll be fun to make. You can also find me on Instagram. My Instagram name is also Sangreena619. I've been posting there for a little while on my sewing adventures and various projects that I've made. You'll probably see a little bit more information there than you will get from this video, but check it out and feel free to follow. It was wonderful to meet everybody, and I hope that you stick around and watch some more videos. So have a great day, and we'll see you next time.